Hello ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to be doing a comparison of two types of 2.5-inch table swivel vices. One is from Harbor Freight and the brand is Ford Central. The other is from Canadian Tire and the brand is Mastercraft. I also want to do a box comparison. Unfortunately I wasn't able to. The Harbor Freight vise was shipped to Canada from the US without a box and only came in a package. The seller on eBay told me it was all about saving money. I'm not sure how true that is. I'm not a seller, so apologies for that. I did want to compare both boxes, but unfortunately I can't. So, what's the point of this video? I just want to see if there's any differences between those two. And after using both of them for a month with actual work to give you my positives and negatives between both of them. So, further ado, intro. Alright, so I guess it's time to start this video, and one with a box. I'm going to be doing a comparison between the Harbor Freight vise and the Mastercraft from Canadian Tire. Now, I paid $40 for this thing, and I paid a lot more because of shipping and all that. But it does come with that, and this was attached to this. So I'm going to take this one apart, I'm going to take this one apart, and I want to actually see which one has the best quality out of both of them. I know these are cheap vices. The quality is not that great in between them, but the ability to do that, that's pretty badass. So, and they're small enough that I can actually use them, one in the shed and one in here for whatever projects I want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and open this box up. Okay, so one comes with a box with no instructions, and the other one doesn't come with a box with instructions. Well then, let's put these things side by side here. Alright, now since I got the Harbor Freight on the left and the Mastercraft on the right, this here is a darker blue, this is a lighter blue, this is kind of got a yellow stain here, this is just your silver type of look to it. Actually, you see the yellow staining right here compared to this one. They look the exact same, pretty close. This one seems to be a little bit more smoother, this seems to be more bubbly. Everything's on the exact same side. Let's have a look at the forge on the back. We'll look at the Mastercraft one. And this one's got a bunch of scratches. And it's a little rough, so I'm going to have to grab a file on an angle, smooth that up. And let's have a look at the one with the forge. That one's pretty rough too. Some scratches, not bad. Let's have a look at the jaws. So you see the Mastercraft one is sitting properly compared to the one with the forge. Let's see if we can straighten this up. Is it just loose? It's not sitting right here. You can see right there. Exact same for that. Yeah, alright, so let's see how easy this one is to open. That's really easy. Oh, there's a mark right there. Yeah, that's as far as that goes. I'll try this Harbor Freight. This one's a little tough. Oh, now it's loosening up. And I see there's some grease right there on the neck. You can see it's shiny. Doesn't look too bad. So you can see it's a little bit different for the machining right here. This one looks to be more smoother. This is a little bit more rough. You can see the difference between those two. The jaws come out at the exact same length. Pretty close. Looks like the Harbor Freight has won on that one. It's out a little bit more than the Mastercraft. Not by much. Almost 3-finger length. I think the next step would be is to take the back off here and actually have a look at this thing. The neck and all that. Start with the Harbor Freight first, I guess. Just kind of keep it somewhat loose. Yeah, that screw is already loose. So is that one. Nice, snug. Okay, what about you? That one's a little tight. It's just snug. That's loose. That was a little snug. How did that come apart? Oh, okay, it twists. I guess I gotta take that screw out, which is now buried far deep underneath. Silly me. All right. Okay. Oh, there we are. Okay, so it's out now. I'll just stop there and then deal with this one now. Do the exact same here. All right. Want to make sure that this stays with it. Definitely looks new, so at least I'm happy with that. Okay, and this now. Does it even come apart? Should. Oh, there's the screw right there. Okay. Same with you now. All right, so as you can see, they're both taken apart. On the left here is the Harbor Freight Forge. On the right here is the Canadian Tire Mastercraft version. We're going to start with the Forge itself and just have a look at the differences in between these two. And yeah, they both definitely need to be filed down here and smoothened out, especially this right here. They both have slack on the bottom, or slag, I think that's the word for it. You can correct me. But as you can see, I'm going to have to file that down, clean that up. I don't want any of that inside grinding away if it does break off. So yeah, they're both the exact same for that. There's a little bit of paint here on the side of that. This needs to be cleaned up as well. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of filing. But I'll do that all off camera. It looks to be all right. So let's actually look at the front jaw here. And the reinforced teeth aren't bad shape. They both look the exact same for that. So that's a plus. The next on that, yeah, you can definitely see this is a lot smoother versus this one. And this has got grease on it. This one doesn't. Which I'm just going to grease them both up after anyways. Looks like this one's got a little bit of extra paint on it, the one on the left. Not too bad between those two. All right, let's have a look at the inside of the jaw. And they both have a bit of paint, as you can see right there. I'm going to have to clean that up as well. And yeah, you can see different machine ended up doing it. I don't know how well you can see that, but this is a little bit more thicker cut versus a finer cut right there by the lathe. There's a little bit of a difference in the inside. If you take a look right here, the screws, I think that's screws. I don't know what that is. It's just some dimples. You see that there's something in the middle of these, and not on this one on the Mastercraft. Again, the reinforced teeth look the exact same. Let's have a look at the handles between these two. It's different color, looks the same. Let's have a look at the bottom clamp. Obviously, I left that one in there. But yeah, they look fine. And of course, this again, same. They're matching. Everything pretty much matches. Oh man, look at that. Don't really want to touch my equipment now. And the screws are different colored as well. So now I'm going to weigh everything after I wash my hands. Okay, so here's my scale. You can barely see it. I know because it's kind of on an angle there, but you just got to take my word for it. So these might be a little too heavy for the scale, but we'll try it anyway. So this is the bottom. $706. $706. This is $716. Yeah, I'll try this one first. $764. $766. So that one's slightly heavier. Just remove that. Do you first? 818. 840. So yeah, the Mastercraft is definitely heavier. Did I do everything? Yes, I did all that. For the heck of it, might as well do the handle. 194. Exactly the same. 86. 84. So this is a little heavier. Why not? Let's just do this. 24. 24. Okay, so yeah, the Mastercraft is definitely heavier, and this is a lot lighter, which doesn't really say much. Could be that this is a little bit better quality. It's using more iron than this one over here, but I don't know. I don't know their forging process on what they actually use to build all this, but it just tells you here that this is heavier than this one over here. But I will test them their fully final weight when I put it all back together. Well, I put them both back together. Mastercraft on the right, Forge again on the left, and 10 kgs, kilogram. How much? Damn it! I don't even know. Convert 10 kilograms into pounds.
10 kilograms, 22.046 pounds.
22 pounds, really? So this, okay. I guess I'm safe to use this. So let's go ahead and check out the full weight of the Mastercraft. Actually, let's do the Forge one first. It feels a lot lighter. Okay, so where do we at? Balancing act. So 3408. 3442. So I made this table to give you a rough idea of exactly the weight, although it doesn't really matter, but I'm doing it anyway. So inside jaw, outside body, bottom clamp, long handle. When it comes down to the small handle, I've only did the one on both sides. So assuming by adding the other two, the 24 grams are the exact same. So that ended up being 72, right? So this is the total amount for the assuming, adding the other two handles, and then this is what the grams are in total here. Same thing with the pounds. Now this is when I did the last weight test when it was all together. So I don't know if this is an issue in between my weigh scale or my calculation. This sucks, but either way, I thought I'd throw this info out there for you anyway. So I have the Harbor Freight on the left, and I have the Canadian Tire one on the right, Mastercraft and Forge. And what I'm going to do with both of these is I'm going to file down the anvil on the back here, and I'm going to make that nice and smooth. And I'm going to file that down to get rid of all this crap here. That doesn't need to be there, although it doesn't really matter because you won't be able to see it, and it's not going to affect anything, but just a thought for me to do. So I'm going to put them into my old Sears vise right here, which has been through a lot over the years. So one of the reasons why I wanted to get this is the fact that I'm always constantly filing down screws, and the jaws on this thing are not good for that. The screws either go on the side or they fall down or whatever the case may be, right? So having that little slit in the teeth on these little vices here would actually do me well, and hopefully it'll actually work good. But yeah, I'm going to put this section of vise into a vise. How ironic is that, right? You can still see that there's some marks in there. I'm going to end up using my sander in the summertime, and I'm going to make that really nice and smooth. But I don't think it really matters too much, because once you start hitting things on there, you can end up marking it up. But I'm going to do it to this one as well, so you can see that there is a difference between that now, right? And I got to get rid of that slag or slack in the bottom. I can't remember the name of it. I'd have to look it up. But yeah, I'm just going to deal with that now. You can tell they both look a lot better now. All nice and filed down there. Even the anvils look a lot better, although I'm going to end up having to do a little bit more work with that in the summertime. But yeah, as long as it works. Yeah, I kind of set up a little temporary bench here because my main bench is not set up for these little vices. So I may actually have to do some modifications this summer to see what I could do here to actually have one of these in here. I want it beside this guy here. But yeah, these things aren't too bad. Like, look at my hand compared to it. Like, this thing is small. If you just look at it the way it is, you think, wow, that's got to be big, right? And then you put your hand here, it's like, what? The thing's that small? Yeah. But I'm glad that I have some tiny little devices now. I can actually do some work with screws and whatnot. Like, this is what I cared about right here. These little holes. Let's loosen this thing up and put a screw in here. So yeah, if I want to file a screw down or something like that, I can just tighten this thing up and I can actually work with a screw like this properly. Now, this is something you wouldn't need to do, but come in handy. Cut a piece of wood here or whatnot. Whatever you want to do, having two of them side by side, that's kind of handy as well. You can move it around like this, lock it up where it doesn't move that way. Loosen this off, right? Put it all over the place. You can use the bottom, which can come in handy if you want to flatten something up or whatever you want to do, where this one leaves marks, this one doesn't. Nice and handy. I'm glad that I picked this up. I'm very glad. No, I'm not sponsored by them. It's this right there. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, this video is not like a verse. See which one is stronger than the other. I do actually want to use these. If I didn't, and I had money to spend, I would actually bought two more, and I would have actually stress tested and see which one would break first. But I actually need these, so I'm not doing that. I'm not going to wreck them or whatnot. But I just wanted to show you the differences in between Canadian Tire's Mastercraft versus Harbor Freight's Central Forge in the U.S. So Canadian, U.S., but these both come from China. They're using the same type of design. So yeah, I got Vice all over my Vice. Yeah. So I thought for the heck of it, instead of doing my three fingers, I would actually show you guys the actual jaw opening width. That way you can get a rough idea. So for the Forge Central or the Central Forge, it's 16th over 2 inch, and for the Mastercraft, it's exactly at 2. So if it could be different for you too. So it all depends of which one you get, but that gives you a rough idea. That's a lot better measurement than 3 fingers. So it's time to wrap this video up, and I just want to mention that these two vices have actually worked very well for me. This is like a month later or so, and I've actually used them quite a lot already. The last project I was doing was building an extension for my microscope, which was a complete waste of time. I made it out of wood, and so I got a company that's actually building me an extension for it right now. But yeah, I don't really got any pros and cons about this. Well, I do got a con with the Harbor Freight one, and the issue with that is the jaw here is always crooked. So every time you open this thing up and you close it, it never straightens out. So you're always having to readjust it when you're trying to tighten it up. This one, on the other hand, is usually just pretty good for that. So I'm using this one more, and I'm using this for the rougher type of stuff. But I've actually used the anvils. I used the bottom part here to straighten out some copper wire. And yeah, I've used it for little tiny tinkering projects, which I usually just do my all my stuff right here for my YouTube videos and whatnot. So that's my soldering and just all types of different little projects that I do. And having these two here have actually helped out quite a lot, to the point that I don't think I'm going to remove them from my desk. I think they're going to permanently stay there, and I'm just going to have to buy another one for the shed. But yeah, I really love them. They work very well. They're easy to remove. They're easy to work with. And yeah, if you don't have one of these and you do a bunch of tinkering, I really highly recommend getting one of these small little vices. There is another thing I want to show. I have tightened this up quite a lot. And you will start making marks, as you can see right there. So the steel isn't as strong. You will start eventually wearing that out over time. So that can be a major bummer. So that means it's loose right here, right? You can hear that. See, it falls into the position where you end up tightening it. So if you did want to slightly move this off to the side and you go to tighten it, it will actually fall back into its hole, which is very, very annoying. So that's, I guess, another con to them, but I don't know, man. They're pretty good. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please do rate, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Well, I almost forgot this, and I mentioned it in the beginning of the video. There's one of the boxes. Yep. It's a box. Can't compare. Well, you get the idea. It's a box.